What if I told you the next economic superpower isn't coming? It's already here? While the West debates recession risks and interest rates, China has been quietly, and not so quietly, transforming into the world's most powerful economic force. And if you're not paying attention, you're already behind. Part 1. For decades, the global economy was dominated by the United States and its Western allies. Post-World War II institutions like the IMF, World Bank, and WTO helped the U.S. set the rules of the game. But in the last 30 years, China has changed everything. From 1980 to now, China's GDP has grown nearly 90-fold. That's not a typo. In the span of a single generation, China has gone from a low-income agrarian society to the second-largest economy on Earth, right behind the United States. And if you adjust for purchasing power, meaning how far your money goes, China is already number one. Part 2. How did China pull this off? It started with Deng Xiaoping's economic reforms in 1978. China shifted away from pure communism and embraced a market-based, export-driven model. They opened special economic zones, welcomed foreign investment, and focused relentlessly on manufacturing. By the 1990s and 2000s, China became the factory of the world, exporting cheap goods to every corner of the globe. Western companies like Apple, Nike, and Walmart all set up deep supply chains inside China. This export strategy made China rich. But here's the twist. They didn't just stop there. Part 3. The New China, Beyond Factory Floors. China's rise isn't just about factories anymore. In 2024, it's about technology, finance, and global influence. Today, China leads in areas like electric vehicles. BYD now rivals Tesla in global sales. Solar panels. Over 80% of the world's production comes from China. 5G technology. Huawei and ZTE have outpaced most Western rivals. AI and surveillance tech. China is building the infrastructure of the future, both at home and abroad. Beijing is also heavily investing in semiconductors, quantum computing, and biotechnology. These are not just catch-up industries. They're the technologies that will define the next century. Part 4. China's global strategy. What makes China different is how they're exporting their power. While the U.S. relies on military alliances and the dollar, China is building relationships through trade and infrastructure. The Belt and Road Initiative is a prime example. Over 140 countries have signed on to China-funded infrastructure projects like highways, ports, and railroads. This gives China access to resources, markets, and most importantly, loyal partners in regions like Africa, Southeast Asia, and Latin America. And let's not forget BRICS, the coalition of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, pushing for a new global financial order less dependent on the U.S. dollar. Part 5. Is the U.S. falling behind? This is the uncomfortable question. Is the West prepared for China's rise? Yes, the U.S. still leads in innovation, military power, and global finance. But China is catching up, fast. And with its massive population, state-backed investments, and long-term planning, it doesn't have to beat America on every front. It just needs to tip the balance of influence. We're already seeing that in the global South. More and more countries are turning to China for loans, infrastructure, and trade deals, not Washington. Meanwhile, political gridlock and short election cycles have made it harder for Western democracies to think in decades the way China does. Final thoughts. What comes next? So where does this all lead? China isn't just rising, it's reshaping the world economy in real time. Whether it's controlling critical minerals, dominating clean energy, or rewriting trade rules, Beijing is making it clear. This is no longer a unipolar world. The real question isn't if China will surpass the US. The question is, how will America and the world adapt to a future where China is no longer the student, but the rival? Will it lead to economic collaboration or a cold war of currencies and technology? One thing's for sure, ignoring it isn't an option. If you found this breakdown helpful, be sure to like and subscribe. And let me know in the comments, is China's rise an opportunity or a threat? Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.